YouTube. Hi, it's me, the Frosty guy, here with my Twitch chat. I told them, what is your opinion on YouTube? And now you can see that they're all saying Poggy Woggy. They all think that you're really, really cool. So they really wanted you to say, come over to the stream if you enjoy the content. And also subscribe and then get angry at me for some of my opinions on the tier lists. Sorry for the honks. Have a good day now. You chat. All right, first card up on the list. It needs no introduction. Apotheosis. Like, it's an S tier card. But is it a card that's taken every single time? No. No, it's not. So it's probably going to end up at the end of this tier list at the bottom of S tier. Because it's not a card that I want to add 1,000% of times. There's so many times when I'm like in an Act 3 store and 90% of my good cards are upgraded and I've got like 5 strikes in 2 defense, or like 5 strikes in defense combined that haven't been upgraded, and people are like, yo, Apotheosis? Yo, dude, I know that you got like a toxic egg and the frozen egg, but like, Apotheosis, look, man. Yo, big poggies, right? Like, you gotta remember that the egg relics are uncommon. They're found often, so it is what it is. Can I pay you to move things? Second up on the list is the Apparition's gonna go right next to him, but obviously on the left side of Apotheosis. Apparition, I mean, like, there is only the event that you can find him at, but like, either you don't take it because you don't, like, the times that you don't take it are because my deck needs to be a certain amount of cards, or is like, doesn't need it. I scale really fast and then I use a Reaper to get back my HP every single time. I am the Watcher. Or I'm not the silent, or I'm the silent and I already have Nightmare Wraith form, right? Like, sometimes you just don't need it and it just takes up too many cards in your deck. But I mean, most of the time, I mean, it's just kind of fantastic. Bandage up. Bandage up. It just heals you for a little bit of HP and it exhausts. We go from an S tier and we're going down to an F tier, man. I can't support the bandage up. Again, let me reiterate as we add our first F tier, because sometimes people get a little bit butthurt that I add things into a lower tier. If I add something to a lower tier, does that mean that that card is always bad and never take? No, unless I explicitly say it. Like Clash, it is a little bit of healing, but it takes up a card in your deck, so you have to draw it and then play it. A lot of fights, the Time Eater, the Heart Fight, the yada yada yadas. You don't want to be playing all these cards, and then some fights give you status cards. So if you're drawing 3 Dazes, a Bandage Up, and a Defend against a 31 damage hit from the Chosen in Act 2, like, you're just gonna fucking cry. So like, you want to fill your cards up with not only good cards, or cards that are able to be played, but also good quality cards. And Bandage Up just tends not to be it. Sometimes it is. There's very few times. Like I was saying, just because a card isn't F tier, unless I explicitly say it, it doesn't mean that it's absolutely useless. Why is Self-Repair so much better than Bandage Up? So that's a good example. You got to take into account everything that comes in here, right? The defect, or the card like Self-Repair is for a deck that builds up stuff while taking damage, and then has self-reliance, and then can block everything, and then can heal, right? And that's what the defect does, and the defect does that beautifully, right? The defect builds up Frost Orbs, takes a little bit of damage getting that focus in place, and then we'll put a Self-Repair in play in order to be able to heal the 10 damage that it took during that. But other classes tend to do that less. Tend to do that a little bit less. And also the defect has a lot of very common good draw techniques. So there's not a whole lot, like, you could definitely add it. But also, how often are you finding a Bandage Up, right? Like, you're only seeing it as a colorless card in specific events and shops, versus as the defect, you can take it early and then you can build your deck around it. But like, like, what am I gonna go? Am I gonna go into a shop in Act 1 and be like, oh my god, Bandage Up, let me spend 100 gold on that? Not really. But oh my god, let's build my entire deck around healing 6 at the for every fight. Oh my fucking god, that's amazing, right? Because it's only single use as well, because we are coming into the next card, which is Bite. In Bite, we're obviously taking into account the Bite event, right? You lose HP or you lose Blood Vial in the very specific case that you have it, and you get to add 5 bites to your deck. The only time that is like Bite is like a snap pick, right? Is like a snap pick in every situation is you still have all your strikes. If you still have all your strikes, you're probably going to take bites. Like, You know, if you, especially if you're one of the classes that has 5 strikes, like the Ironclad or the Silent, you're just going to snap it, you're going to pick it. It does help sustain your deck. And it is that version of a card, like Bandage Up, that it allows you to build up like a strong thing that your deck is doing and then heal up. Or if your deck is like, oh, normally, you know, with all the cards that I have in my deck, I'm usually taking chip damage over and over again. This just mitigates the chip damage. No, I think bites are pretty fantastic. The issue is the fact that it gives you the 5 bites. Is most of the time you'll see people not take them, either because it's too much max HP to lose, but mainly because it's 5 of them. Because you have to take 5. 5 is just too fucking many. Not many decks can support taking 5 of one card at once in an instance and be okay. Most decks are going to suffer for that, and for that I put it in C tier. Just because you got to take into account how you get it. Like if I could just take 1 bite at a time, I would definitely put it in B or A, but it's the cum tier. It's not the cum tier. C tier is not the cum tier. Chat, let us get that out of the way right now. It's not the cum tier. If the event was replace your remaining strikes with bites, and it costs 7 max HP per strike, that would be easy. That would be S tier. That would be as good as Apparitions in my opinion. Cum tier, cum tier, cum tier. 25 gifted subs. I'll make it the cum tier. Anyways, Blind. 0 cost applied to weak. Upgraded applies weak to everyone in the fight. This is oftentimes a pick for me. I take this card oftentimes, and then it's not that good. Like, it doesn't feel that good, but sometimes it can be really good. Just an easy way to apply blind or weakening over and over again can be really good. And I usually will take it later in the game when my deck already has a lot of draw efficiency, usually in the Act 3 event where you get to choose a bunch of colorless cards, or in a late game store where you have a bunch of money built up, and that's usually the time where you can pick on the colorless cards in the shop. Blind, I think, definitely goes in the B tier. It's solid. It's not the best. Upgraded, it's way better. If I have a Toxic Egg, it's pretty much a snap pick in the shop for me. Yeah, it's decent. Decent. Next up, Chrysalis. Shuffle 3 or 5 random skills, if upgraded, into your draw pile, and they cost 0 this combat. Chrysalis is a weird one. The 0 this combat is really nice. I think that's the key word there, is combat. It's not when played. It's this entire combat. You're getting free skills put into your deck. But it also does cost you 2 mana to play, and then you have to draw those skills. And those skills could also be useless, like literally useless, and could also hurt you in a lot of fights. The hard fight, the time eater fights, those fights where playing as specific cards is bad, the chosen fights, the et cetera, et cetera. So I like Chrysalis. I do. But the main time that I'm only ever taking it is from a start. I'm not really going to take it from a shop. Like, I've taken it a couple of times from a shop, but I'm not really going to take it from, like, the event, right? Because, again, it adds too many cards to the deck. Usually by I get to Act 3 or late game shops, I'm already developed what I'm doing in my deck, and I don't want much more. Really can be good on Ironclad, especially if you have Corruption or a Dark Embrace. It can be fantastic there, because it's like a mini Corruption where it'll give you 0 cost, where Ironclad skills oftentimes either exhaust something or exhaust themselves. So I'm going to put it in B tier, A tier if you're Ironclad. I think that's fair. If you're Ironclad, I would recommend really thinking hard about taking it. Dark Shackles is the most commonly added card that is colorless that I add to my deck, and it is going to go at the top of S tier to me. Dark Shackles is fucking awesome. It is fucking phenomenal. Against a lot of the Act 2 elites, 2 out of the 3 of them, it's fantastic. If not, it's literally just 15 block. Like, it's literally just 15 block upgraded. It does 9 block or 15 block upgraded. Like, it's absolutely fucking incredible. It is insane. It is a snap pick. You should take it every single time. Take it if you can afford it in a shop. I think Dark Shackles is very, very, very good. Next up is Deep Breath. You shuffle your discard pile. So that is a key there. That's the key there that a lot of people don't realize. You shuffle your discard pile and you draw 1 card or 2 cards if it's upgraded. The shuffling your discard pile is something that I feel like a lot of people overlook, and they take it even though it's like not going to be very good for them. Because if you like, let's say you have like a 30 card deck. Not uncommon for you late game to have a 30 card deck. You've got a couple of key powers. You got a defrag. You got a consume. You got these things that you need to get in play in order for it to be really good. You've got a fucking Apotheosis. Yeah. You got all these things that are good, and you're 15 cards down in your deck, and you're like, oh shit, well, I drew my Deep Breath. I could look for the Apotheosis now. It happens more with the defect card. It reshuffles your draw pile, but I think that people oftentimes fall into the trap of this as well. It can be really good if you have a specific relics, if you've got the homie, aka the Abacus, if you've got a Sundial, it can be absolutely fucking phenomenal. It's really good if you have a small deck though. If you have just like a couple of key powers, you know, if you're doing like a Shiv build that has like a Shuriken, like you just have to draw your couple of key cards over and over again, it could be awesome. Like it could be really good. It's very good if you have Runic Pyramid. If you take Runic Pyramid, then you have a lot of your cards in your deck. You have a 20 card deck. You don't have many cards to shuffle. It can be really, really good in that sense. But yeah, I would put it in a high B tier. I don't take it often. I'd probably put a below blind because I wouldn't take it as much as blind, but I do like a Deep Breath because I tend to be more refined with my decks that I find. That's my play style is tending to be on the smaller side. All right, next up on the list is Discovery. Choose one of 3 random cards from your class. That is key. Choose one of 3 cards from your class, and it will cost 0 this turn. Pretty good. If upgraded, it just doesn't exhaust, so you can play it more times in a fight. So it doesn't need to be upgraded. It's a good one-time use. It's kind of plays off like the Hearthstone mechanics of like discovering cards. It's pretty good. I'm not taking it often, I find. Like it's like if what we're gonna come across with a lot of these cards. By the time that you're seeing a lot of colorless cards, it is too late into the game to want to take it, right? Because a lot of times you're going to see colorless cards in Act 3. That's where you're taking a lot of shops. That's where you're taking the event that can see you a lot of cards. And so, yeah, you're like, by this time, my deck is most likely functioning. Times where I like it, if I'm exhaust heavy on the Ironclad, if like I need just like an extra little boost, I think it'd be pretty good inside of a deck with like a Strange Spoon that wants to like just have another card to possibly not exhaust, and you don't want to upgrade it because like this thing giving it an upgrade feels weird. I think it's just really strong early, especially upgraded. Oh yeah, I think it can be fantastic early to get like a 0 cost attack to bonk something really hard. But like by the late game, you're already you should be already scaling enough to be able to deal with threats. So I'm gonna put Discovery in the C tier, but I'll put it above Bites because Bites can lick my balls. All right, next up, Dramatic Entrance. Deals 6 damage to all enemies and exhaust. I think it's 9 damage upgraded. Not exactly sure actually, but it is innate. That's the issue, is that it is innate. It starts in your opening hand. I put it down in PP poo-poo tier. It's really strong upgraded. It's really strong not upgraded. It's really strong early. It's upgraded. It's 12 damage. Wait, no, right. Fucking Jesus. Okay. It's really strong early. It's really strong early. If you get it early, if you get Akabeko, yeah, all these sort of things, it's really strong. But when you roll into the Donu Deca fight and they got like 300 HP a piece, and like, what are you gonna do? You gonna, oh my god, I drew this and like, you know, 1 true grit, and like if you have a bag of prep, is really good. I'll take it on the silent a couple of times, or if I already have a bag of prep, or if I have some sort of like bottled draw mechanic, something like that. It's 8 to 12. This is the old version of the card. You are very correct. Thank you, Stebark. I appreciate that, man. It shows you how much I take this card. If you have something, you can take it. Yeah, if you've got Gambit chip, you can take it. But like overall, I'm not impressed with this card. Like again, it needs things to roll with, and because it needs things to roll with, and it's not strong in and of itself, we move it down. We move it down. Next up is Enlightenment. We're putting this one in the A tier. The first one to jump into the A tier to move all of the other things, the entire thing down. The first one to jump into the A tier. I think this card's fantastic. I think it's really good with Runic Pyramid and Snekoi, which are 2 of the strongest relics in the game that you're often going to be taking. But even other than that, if you have a lot of draw in your deck, it can easily, you know, you draw a bunch of cards. And upgraded, by the way, it says reduce all cards in your hand that cost 1. Upgraded, it makes them cost 1 for the rest of combat. So if you've got a Meteor Strike in your deck, 1 plus Meteor Strike for the rest of the damn game? Oh! Now, of course, it will get overridden if you have Snecko Eye, but I ain't complaining. But either way, it can make playing your demon forms easier. It can make, you know, if you Enlightenment like a Wraith form and shit, and then it's super punked up. Very, very strong. Is this card just not worse bullet time, though? Yes, but it's available to all classes. Exactly what Pepe Sylvia just said. Yeah, and it costs 0. Exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's a worse version of bullet time. I think it's so it literally costs 0. Also, you can still draw after playing it. No, so I would say it's an adjacent, if not better, bullet time. All right, next up, Finesse. You get a little bit of block and you draw a card. That's a B tier. It's like, okay, I'm never gonna buy it. Like, if you buying this shit in the shop, man, you better be the silent or like the watcher with a bunch of with a bunch of like a kunai or something. It's A tier if you don't buy it. No, like why the heck are you taking this in the like? Why are you taking this in the event that you have to take 10 damage for? There's probably a better card next to it, or you know what's better? Just nothing. And it ain't free against the Time Meter. Ain't free once the heart is dealing 3 damage on the beat of death. Those are 2 major fights where you need to be hyper prepared for, because they add doo-doo into your deck and make you need to play things very hyper specifically. Saying that something's free, nothing free in this world, man. The only thing that's guaranteed in the world is death and taxes, and those ain't free. What about from Prismatic Shard? Like I said, I would take it if I was, you know, had a lot of dexterity scaling. Because I think it's fantastic with dexterity scaling. I think it's fantastic if you're trying to go infinite with it. I think it's an infinite enabler. If you've got like a Sundial and then you've got a Pommel Strike and you need another draw card in order to be able to, you know, you can go with Flash of Steel, which is right next to it, which is going to go next to it inside of the thing. I mean, yeah, I'm more likely to take a Flash of Steel though than I am a Finesse. I'd like a free attack more than I like a free defend. Because this feels like it does virtually nothing. This feels like it does virtually nothing plus 1. And there's more things in the game that combo with playing a bunch of attacks than there are that combo with playing a bunch of skills. You've got like Letter Opener over here, which is you've got like Shuriken, Ornamental Fan, Kunai. Shouldn't it be above it then? True. What's the beta art? Oh, dude, normally we do open up the game and we do look at beta arts and we do scale these cards off of beta arts. Normally we do that. We do, don't we? Frostprime, you've fallen off. Not doing the same thing. We'll do it at the end. All right, next up is Forethought. Put a card from your hand to the bottom of your draw pile, and it costs 0 until played. I'm going to tell you that this card is so trash, I don't even know what the upgrade does. This card is so fucking ass, I don't even know what it does upgraded. Upgraded is any number of cards. So you can just trash your entire hand. I don't know what it does either. It's just bad. I've literally only used it once to play Grand Finale. Yeah, that's where I could see it being played. It's F tier. It's fucking terrible. Yeah, it's -2 draw. Yeah, you got to think about it like that. You're literally saying this demon form is so expensive that I need to play it in 2 turns and then wait another turn for it to be good. Is fucking awful. That's ass. All right, next up is a Good Instincts. Good Instincts, I would say, is the top of B. It's an upgraded Deflect. It's a free block card that I'm pretty sure now, this is old card. This is a 6 unupgraded block. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is unupgraded 6 block, upgraded, I believe, 8 block, right? 9 upgraded, I think. That makes sense. But I'm not buying it. Most of the time, I'm just taking it from the Act 3 event, but it's good. It's easy to play, and it blocks for a handy amount per card quality. Yeah. All right. Next up is Hand of Greed. Deal 20 or 25 damage if upgraded, and if it kills a non-minion enemy, gain 20 or 25 gold if upgraded. I'm going to put that at the upper echelon of, the upper end of A tier. I don't think it's S tier, because there's only 2 times that you're taking this card. Because you get a really early membership card and then find it in a shop, or you find it from your starting reward. That's the only time. You're not, what are you going to spend 250 gold on this shit? 210 gold? And then and then you're gonna like you gotta fucking kill 10 things, and then like you gotta like slow. That's a heck investment. That's an omega investment. Sometimes if you take 250 gold, you might click on it in the shop if there's nothing else. Most of the time, you're going to look later on in the act and be like, oh, there's another shop coming up. I'm going to go up to that one. It doesn't exhaust. That is a big plus of it. Yeah, a big plus is the fact that it doesn't exhaust. So it's just a big slappy blappy. I do like that. Is sometimes, yeah, but like sometimes you'll take it in like an Act 2 shop if you got like Necronomicon and Snecko Eye. But like, yeah, I don't know. No, you're most of the time only going to be taking this either extremely early on because you got a lucky setup, or you're going to be taking it from your whale reward. And it is fantastic as a whale reward. As a whale reward, this thing lasts the entire game, makes you a bunch of money. It makes you, but like buying it at a shop, even Thornton would say that's a bad investment. Impatience. If you have no attacks in your hand, draw 2 cards. Upgraded, draw 3 cards. I think that's another A tier card. I think this is a great card. A lot of times, later on in the game, you only have a certain amount of attacks in your deck. It's more often that you get rid of all your strikes than you get rid of all your defense. And it tends to be, you want to take those key attacks that are really, really good, and you tend to be able to get them out of your hand. The Silent has ways to discard cards. The Watcher has the ways to play a billion cards. A lot of the Silent cards are also in her skills. Yeah, it's a really good card. I take this card very often. Buy it from shops more often than I'd like to admit. Jack of all trades. Why the fuck do I want this card? Why the fuck do I want it, man? If this said add a random color this card to your hand and you make it cost 0, I would say it's like maybe a bottom of B tier. But like, add a random color this card to your hand, and then I gotta play it. Then I gotta do it at its exact cost, huh? Nah, it's a D. It's a D tier. Should it be an F tier? Let me think. What is the upgrade? It adds 2 random colorless cards. And you want to know what it can do as well? It can add itself, and it seems to do that way too fucking often. F because it can give you forethought. All right, true. I've been convinced. All right, next up is going to be a controversial one. Jakes. Lose 3 HP and gain 2 strength. I'm not going to give any opinion on this card. I'm going to put it inside of what category I think. I'm already seeing a vastly different slappage like of rankings. Everyone's saying different stuff. I'm going to put it in the A tier. But then you're like, Tristan, you don't take it often. Yeah. It's because transforming strikes in Act 2 is S tier. That just is what it is. Transforming 2 of your starting cards is just S tier. Like, that is the reason that it is not taken often. Is because doing the other thing at that event is just better. But Jax is actually incredibly good. It is very unlikely that in your run you won't get some sort of a sustained rally. At some point in your run, might be later, might be earlier, you might get a sustained rally. It's also unlikely that you can't tap for 3 damage every single fight. Most of the runs that you take could tap for 3 damage every single fight. Now, the issue is you have to draw it and play it and then also do your defensive stuff. So it's not always going to be a take, right? It's not always going to be a take. But if there was an event that didn't allow me to transform and had Jax available, I'm taking Jax probably 6 to 7 times out of 10. All right, next up is Madness. Reduce the cost of a random card in your hand to 0. This combat costs 0 if upgraded. I'm putting that at the top of busted tier. B tier. I'll take it sometimes. The best times that it's available is when you've got like one expensive replayable card that you can reliably make cost 0 every combat through like Runic Pyramid or something like that. Other than that, though, usually you don't want them in your deck because the event that gives you 2 madnesses feels similar to the bite event where you don't want 2 of them. But sometimes I take them. Sometimes if you have a lot of draw, it can easily create an infinite. That's like the best place that I would say is if you have a lot of draw in your deck, but a few number of cards and you're looking to play just a couple of key cards over and over again, this can easily make an infinite for you. Madnesses can easily make infinites for you. All right, Magnetism. At the start of your turn, add a random colorless card to your hand. It can give you forethought. Yeah, Magnetism is fucking terrible. It's an expensive power, upgraded. If you're gonna pay the upgrade to upgrade it, it's fucking awful, man. If you actually buy it, then D tier, you're gonna pay money for this? What the fuck? This is a fucking rare card, man. This is expensive. Master of Strategy, I'm gonna put right behind the Dark Shackles. It's just a great card. You don't need, I mean, if it doesn't exhaust with like a strange spoon, it's insane. But if it does exhaust, it doesn't fucking matter. I'll pay 200 gold for this in the shop sometimes because it helps you get to your key powers. It helps you get to the stuff that you need to get off so that your deck scales a little bit faster. It's literally free draw. Exactly. Like, what more do you fucking want? And it is enough draw that it pays itself in the price of both the blood tax against the heart and the card tax against the time meter. It just lets you see enough stuff. I love it, man. Anyways, Mayhem. At the start of the turn, play the top card of your draw pile. I'm going to let Mayhem sit down here in a nice, cozy C tier. Let me explain my reasoning. Everybody likes Mayhem. It's the claw of colorless cards. I tell you this. 1 mana if it's upgraded. 2 mana if it's not upgraded. It plays the top card of your draw pile. Most of the time, you're not going to want it in your deck because you've got key cards that you don't want to play willy-nilly. Wraith Form, Ritual Dagger Feeds, Hand of Greeds, Jacks if you've got buffers, right? Like, there's a lot of times you're not going to want to take this card in your deck. And then when you're like, dude, this deck could definitely use a Mayhem, you didn't say this because you don't actually expect this card to ever show up in your runs because it's a rare colorless card. You're never like, wow, you know what this deck could use? A fucking Mayhem. Wow, I really could, like, at this point in my life, I could really use a Mayhem. It can definitely have its place. It can easily have its place. Until you Fiend Fire away your entire hand with a Runic Pyramid deck. Been there, done that. Metamorphosis. It's like the Chrysalis, but it is for attacks. Shuffle 3 random attacks into your draw pile, or 5 if upgraded, and they cost 0 this combat. I think this card is A tier. Chrysalis, taken from a colorless rare card that you get from the whale reward. Bad. You're probably not going to want to take a Chrysalis. It's not going to do very well for you. But a Metamorphosis is going to fucking slap in Act 1. It's going to fucking slap. And I know this is a controversial pick. You can see the people in my chat be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What? Tell me you've never taken a Metamorphosis off of your whale reward without telling me you've never taken a Metamorphosis off your whale reward. It's only good in that very specific case, but you'll see it often enough because a rare colorless card is an option for a lot of your starting relics. And Metamorphosis is a good take. Is a good take. Against Gremlin Knob, it's going to help you have more attacks in your deck so that you don't fucking lose and don't have to play too many spells. Against Lagavulin, you can set up against Lagavulin. What better card than set up than 0-cost attacks? And against Tri-Sentries, you want to flood your deck with cards so that you don't have more the cards to play. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good late game. I'm not saying it's the best card late game. It's also not the fucking worst card late game. Every single class has a card that you wouldn't mind this getting turned into late game. Yeah, but I agree, but card gets annoying late game. Yeah. And you want to know what you do when it's annoying later? You either don't play it or remove it. But like you look at the fucking Ironclad. I wouldn't mind playing a 0-cost Bludgeon even late into the game. Defect, I wouldn't mind playing a 0-cost Meteor Strike late into the game / Sunder late into the game. Silent, I wouldn't mind a 0-cost Sneaky Strike late into the game for more energy on my Runic Pyramid deck. Yeah, we got to stop with the whataboutisms. Everything in this game is situational. Yeah. And so I think for the value that it can provide you in this, because like we have to take into account the situations that you see it. That's why Bite is in C tier, right? If we're taking into account the situations where you most see this card, that's what you have to think. The reason that Jax isn't higher up is because the event that you see it. All right, next up, Mind Blast. I don't play Endless. It's F tier. In endless runs, Mind Blast can be good. In your normal runs, it's not really ever good. It deals damage equal to the number of cards in your draw pile. Like if you've got a really fat deck, you probably don't even want this card either because your deck has too many other good things in it. You don't need a 40 damage 2-mana card. Yeah, it's also good in dailies. Yeah, again, yeah, it's good with custom runs. It's not a card that's made for normal Slay the Spire. Therefore, yeah. All right, up next, Panacea. Gain 1 artifact, 2 artifact if upgraded. Drop it up there in the S tier. Too many classes in this game, in fact, all of them, have one thing or another that you would like to play an artifact before and then not have the thing that happens that is negative in that thing that happens happen. Every single class has it. Very good. We like artifacts here. We like artifacts. Very poggers, big, good poggers. Take it. Good against specific bosses, good against specific enemies, good against the Snecko enemy if you have a Runic Pyramid. It's good against the Chosen because the Chosen fucking sucks ass. Panache. Every time you play 5 cards in a single turn, deal 10 damage, or upgraded, more damage. Can't remember the exact number. Chat's gonna correct me. To all enemies. Panache is great, but it's only great in specific cases. It's in the meme. You think Panache is in the meme tier? You think Panache is 14? Thought it was 14. I didn't want to misspeak though. You think Panache is in the meme tier, dog? Huh? I think that you are sorely mistaken. I think that it is in the high A tier. I think Panache is incredible. The Ironclad. Oftentimes you have exhaust stuff. You play 1,000 cards a turn. Panache helps with that. Silent. Shivs exist. And discard exists. The Defect. Sometimes I need a little bit more damage when I'm running a very defensive draw, cool-headed, draw, cool-headed. Do I need another cool-head on my deck? Yeah, because I need to get my defrags faster. Draw, cool-headed, good, draw. Is damage, right? And then the Watcher just goes infinite off everything, so she doesn't really ever need it, but like it also exists sometimes. You know, sometimes you can. It makes things like go a little bit faster when you get your infinite by the end of Act 1. So I think it's B tier because Pocket Watch exists.
You are basing how good a rare colorless card is based off of a rare relic.
You realize that you see rare relics less often than you see like boss relics. You can definitely base your entire deck off of Pocket Watch, but then it's usually late game. You still like will transition off of it because playing just 3 cards a turn is usually an easy recipe to lose all the time. Like if you're only playing off Pocket Watch all the time, you're gonna lose. Panic Button. Gain 30 block, but you can't gain any block from cards specifically that say, you know, gain block on them for the next 2 turns. Bonk. This is an incredible card. This is a fucking awesome card. When I first started playing the game, I was nervous about taking Panic Button. I was nervous about it. I was nervous about taking this card. I think that a lot of people who are younger to the game are going to be nervous about taking this card. Don't be nervous. This card's fucking awesome. This card's amazing. In most games, or in most decks, you're going to have alternative ways to block. Whether that's negating debuffs so that you can then play your block cards again, solves Panic Button. Whether it's holding all of your block with Barricade. Whether it's Feel No Pains giving you block. Whether it's discarding giving you block. Whether it's playing a bunch of Shivs giving you block. Whether it's you holding block with Blurs or Calipers or Mental Fortresses or Talk to the Hands. Or on the Defect, you got your Frosty Orbs. There's so many different ways that you gain block in this game that aren't just off of I play card. It literally is like the definition of, you know, what it does the same thing that an Apparition does, except it's not guaranteed to block the entirety of it, right? Like it does the exact same thing where it buys you a turn. It buys you a turn to get your stuff in play. And that's what you need sometimes. All right, up next, Purity. Purity, I think, is going to go at the top of A tier. The top of B tier. Because I like to take Runic Pyramid a lot. It's a boss relic that, I mean, it's a boss relic that I take pretty often. And Purity can help you deal with stressful situations. Especially if you got like an infinite. Especially if you've got, you know, going up against enemies that have status cards. Yeah, it's just quite the solid effect. That's why I put it in B tier, because it's very situational of whether you want it or not. You're probably not going to take it most of the time. I feel like that's what you're going to get once you get into B tier. In the A tier, you're going to get cards that I'm going to take a decent number of times, maybe like minus this end of A tier. But once you get into B tier, it's those cards that you don't see quite as often. Yeah, very, very, very poggers. Ritual Dagger. I want to see where chat rates Ritual Dagger before I say anything. I put it at the top of S tier. Deal 15 damage if it kills an enemy and permanently increases the damage done by that thing by 3 or 5. I'm going to put it at the top of S tier. Possibly one of the best cards in the game. Possibly. It's thumbnail tier 2. Also true. Also true. It is also anytime you have it in your run, or every time you take it, you easily can just put it in your thumbnail. Very true. Almost every single time that you get it, if you're playing it correctly, it's dealing 70 or more damage for 1 mana. It is insane. And then you take into account any sort of multipliers in the game, Phantasma Killer, Vulnerable, the Watcher being the Watcher in the many ways that the Watcher can be Watcher. And at the very least, 1 mana, 15 damage is already a good card. And you kill like 3 things with it, and it's dealing like 1 mana, 30 damage. That's fucking insane, man. So yeah, it is easily, without a doubt, one of the best cards in the game. One of the best cards in the game. I'm putting it above Apparitions. I'm putting it above Dark Shackles. It's just that sometimes you come across this event, the times that you don't take it is when your deck isn't good at setting things up. If your deck isn't good at setting things up, it's not going to be good for your deck, right? If you're running a poison build, things are just going to die. If you're running Combust, things are just going to die. If you're playing the Watcher and you've got a bottled Blasphemy and Ragnarok, things are just going to die. Like, sometimes you just have a deck, or you got Feed. You've already got Hand of Greed. You've already got your Fatal card. Then yeah, you're probably not going to want a Ritual Dagger in there. But if your deck is cool with taking things slow and has consistent blocking mechanisms in order to be able to set up a kill with a Ritual Dagger, it is going to carry your run easily, 1000%. Biggest Ritual Dagger I ever had is 135 damage, which is nuts. I don't remember what mine was at. I think, hold on. No, I got a thumbnail. I got a thumbnail for you. Hold on, pause. 945 damage. It's kind of nasty. I do think that that's a good card, and I stand by my tier list ranking. Sadistic Nature. Whenever you apply a debuff to an enemy, deal 3. It's actually 5 damage now, or 7 damage upgraded. These are old card, old statistic, has been buffed. Sadistic Nature is going in D tier.
Oh my god, poison, when you put the poison, and there's so much that
You could do anything. I get it. But here's my counter. Here's my counter to your thing. Here's my counter to your thing. If you've already got a lot of poison, you already win. Like, you don't need it. You don't need it, man. Yeah, and Venom's Sadistic Shift. Yeah, so I gotta have in Venom a rare card, and then Sadistic, and then also not have a billion poison already. Like, it's not enough damage that I'm ever gonna want it in my deck. Usually, sometimes you can make it work. Soda Slushy, stay for the fall. Sometimes. Again, that's why it's in D tier and not all the way down in F tier. I think it's more viable than the rest of these. Every single time that I have ever tried to make a Sadistic Nature deck work, either one of 2 things happened. I lost because the deck sucked. Or 2, Sadistic Nature didn't fucking matter. Like, it literally doesn't matter. All right, Secret Technique. Put a skill from your drop pile into your hand, and if you upgrade it, it doesn't exhaust as an S tier card. Usually don't give a shit about it being upgraded. Usually you don't need Secret Technique to being upgraded. Usually you can just go. It applies its thing once. It's not usually a card that I care about doing things multiple times. Sometimes, though. Sometimes. But not usually. It's just a fantastic card to be able to fish out. A key thing that I need to do that turn, if I need an Apparition, it does that. If I need Draw, it does that. If I need my Dark Shackles, it does that. If I need my Apotheosis, it does that. If I need my yada, 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 yada. If I need my Seek, Secret Technique for my Seek, for my Echo Form is pretty good. All right, next up, Secret Weapon. It's the antithesis to Secret Technique. You put an attack from your draw pile into your hand instead. And of course, if you upgrade it, it doesn't exhaust. I put it in the C tier. Oftentimes, you're not needing to fish for key attacks. Classes that you do need to do it, Watcher with like Talk to the Hand and effects like that. But most of the times, you don't need to fish for a specific attack. Does combo well with your Ritual Dagger, but again, hyper-specific cases. So I'll put it in the C tier. You're going to take us sometimes you're not. I don't know why the fuck this tier list has Shiv in it. I'll put it in the F tier. Every 5 gifted subs, I move it up 1. Swift Strike is 0 mana, 6 damage. It's a slash. I mean, it's I. I'll put it in the D tier. I'm very rarely ever taking this card. Or slice, excuse me. It's a slice from like the silent. Thank you, Thunderek, for the 5 gifted subscriptions. All right, next up is Zabumba. The bomb's 2 mana at the beginning of, or at the end of 3 turns, deal 40 or 50 damage if upgraded to all enemies in combat. I have made bomb work recently in a couple of videos, right? I did the bomb video. I did a video where I took bomb naturally and I made it work. But in reality, the bomb's kind of shit, man. In reality, the bomb is absolute butthole. I gotta, in 3 turns, I'm gonna deal 40 damage. Waiting that long for just that little bit of damage is like, I need to do that faster. I need to do that faster most of the time and for cheaper. All right, thinking ahead. I mean, the upgrade of this is taking off the exhaust. It's literally just a war cry. I'm rarely ever going to take it off of the whale reward unless I get a really, really, really bad roll. I'll sometimes take it as like a cop-out or if I need more exhaust effects from the event in Act 3. I'm never going to buy it at the shop. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. Again, it's just a war cry, but it's rare. It's just a war cry plus, but it's rare. Why is JOAT when so many of the colorless cards are high tier? Why Jack of all trades? I had to figure that one out. Why? You don't need to abbreviate everything in the world. Jack of all trades, because it can give you the bad cards. And you got to realize that the only cards that you actually want in your deck often enough for Jack of all trades is in this row. And even then, I'm not wanting Panacea on every turn. I'm not excited to see that. I'm not needing an Apotheosis on every turn, especially if it's going to cost 2 fucking mana. I'm not going to need, I mean, I can't get Apparition. I can't get Ritual Dagger. And better yet, I can't give you shivs. Like, I want like a Dark Shackles and a Master of Strategy or a Panic button. Fucking draw a hand to greet. Cool. Like, I might be able to use it. Enlightenment's going to be useless. This is going to be useless. This is going to be you can't get this. This is going to be useless because you have to pay mana for it. This is going to be useless. This is going to be useless. Useless. Like, they're all fucking useless. Colorless cards are very situational. So that's why with Transmutation, you add X number of colorless cards to your hand, and they cost 0 this turn. As F tier. I have to spend all of my mana to get cards that only cost 0 mana this turn. It's not even this combat, like Chrysalis and Metamorphosis. It's literally only this turn. Yeah, it's fucking awful. I mean, we're literally going over how most of these cards are fucking ass anyways. The cards that are good are only good because you know what you're getting. Jack of all trades is bad because you don't know what you're getting, and most colorless cards are bad unless you build around them. Yeah, exactly. Trip! All right, Trip is the antithesis to Blind. And honestly, if I could put 2 cards on top of each other, it'd be Trip and Blind. I think that they're exactly equal, and I don't care which order these go in. I think that these 2 cards are pretty much exactly equal. Maybe if I really had to think about it, Trip is slightly worse. Just slightly worse. Again, these cards are both situational, so, I mean, you might say that you take Blind more often because free defenses is better than free offensive, but I think in, like, overall usefulness, I think they're pretty good. Yeah, Trip upgraded stripping artifact from Donu and Deka is fantastic. Violence. Chat, what do you guys think of Violence? Put 4 attack cards from your draw pile into your hand. What do you think of Violence? I prefer it over Secret Weapon, B or A, C, B, C, C, B, D, F. I changed my mind. I said earlier that I think that Madness was the most underrated card. Not that it's really good, but that most people will underrate the value of Madness. I changed my mind. I think that Violence is possibly the most underrated card out of all of the colorless cards. I think that Violence is either high A tier or low S tier. And let me explain my reasoning. It's going to be used. It's 2 times that you're going to draw Violence. You're either going to draw it really, really early in your draw, and you can draw all your attacks to do one of 2 things. Kill one guy, aka Sneaky Gremlin, in a multifaceted fight. In a multi-enemy fight, you can use it to snipe. Or you use it to it's like a strainer, right? It's like you pour all of your cards into a deck and you sift, and it strains out all of your other cards and you're left with your attacks so you can throw them in the garbage. And then you can draw in the next turns your better cards. I need to get my Corruption Dark Embrace off. I need to get my Defrags off. I need to get my Wraith Form off. I need to get this and that and the Noxious Fumes. I need to get my shit off, right? It helps you get that shit off so that when you reshuffle your decks and start drawing your attacks, you're scaling. You're moving along. Because what fucking sucks more than turn 2, turn 3 of like a fight like the Chosen or the Tri-Centuries, where you need to get a couple of things off to get things moving. That you turn 2, you're fucking shit, dude. I drew strike, defend because on turn 2 I'm not drawing 7 cards like on the Silent, right? Or you draw it right at the end of your deck, right? You draw it right at the end. In the middle, it's where it's the worst part. That's where the violence suffers. But if you draw it at the end of your deck, right as you reshuffle your draw pile, now you've got your shit in play. It's just an enabler, man. It's an enabler to either filtering your deck or for popping off when you need to. When you need to like have that turn where you execute your stuff. I think violence is phenomenal. And it's underrated. And I think that it's underrated because of the fact that you just don't see it often. You know? You either see it next to an Apotheosis in your Whale Ward and you just click Apotheosis and don't even realize 3 seconds later you can't even remember what the other 2 cards were because you saw Apotheosis, poggers. Or you see it late game and you've already stripped your deck of all of your strikes and defends. So you don't mind, you don't want to have another card in your deck. But I think that, like, when you need violence...
it fucking performs, dude.
All right. Beta art time. It's time for the beta art looksy daisy. Do we need to move any cards up or down based on how good or bad their beta arts? Because both of those count. Apparition, if I could move it up, I would. It's great. Bite. Seems like it's a move up, man. I'm gonna be honest. Seems like chat is wanting to move Bite up one. Boo! Boo! Move Jack down. Jack also going into the B tier, fucking up the entire list. Ritual Dagger. It can't go up anymore, man. It can't go up anymore. What the fuck? They have a fucking chainsaw! Transcends all power and reality. Shiv beta art. Why is it a toothbrush? It's a toothbrush. Oh, because prison! Because of prison! We're moving Shiv up to transcend reality as well. All right. It's not better than Ritual Dagger, though. Eat shit. What's the burn beta art? Ew. What's the dazed beta art? Ew. Slimed? S tier.
Owie! Oh, no! I don't like it!
All right. Bandage up. Will Bandage up get out of F tier? The only thing that can save it. Boo! We gotta make a new tier for it as well. Fuck this, man. Blind. Chad is saying it should be moved up. Move it up. Move Blind up. Dark Shackles. I don't like this. I'm keeping that where it is. Beta art for... What the fuck? Chat saying move it up. All right, it's now an A tier as well. Discovery beta art. No, I'm not moving this. This is average Hearthstone enjoyer right here. I'm not moving this. This is not moved. This is not getting moved. You can't even pay me to move this. All right, dramatic entrance. What the fuck? That's the defect as the Phantom of the Opera? How do you tell that that's the defect? They have eyes. Enlightenment. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? What the hell? We leaving it, though. Decent, but we're leaving it. Finesse. It's a lobster? It's a crab? Why is it a crab? It's a crab threading a needle through its claws. That requires finesse. That's it? That's it. That literally the crab has nothing to do with it. Big meaty claws. All right, we already have Flash of Steel. We already use Flash of Steel's upgrade. Or its beta art. Because it is, without a doubt, it's so fucking good. Yeah, we're moving it up easily. Move it up. Move it up. I love it so much. It's just like if chat was playing with me alongside me. They do virtually nothing, but they're there to participate. All right, Fourth Thought. Can Fourth Thought get out of F tier? That's a no move to me. That's a no move. Good instincts. The shopkeeper catching a fly. You can see the path of a fly too. It did a loop-de-loop. Blindfolded. Yeah, well, he's already blindfolded. He already has a mask on. Also, yeah, we'll move him up. Impatience. Who draws to kill a clock? That's might be the most ones that I've ever seen. That was the most one votes that I've ever seen. All right, moving it up to sliver tier. All right, can Jack of all trades get out of F tier? Yes or no? It's not doing it for me. Madness Madness beta art. What the fuck? What the fuck? Boo! No, that actually makes sense. Yeah, because the Ironclad gets corruption, so now we move it down to the cum tier. All right, Mind Blast. Maybe Mind Blast can be the one that transcends out of F tier. Boo! I actually think this is so fucking terrible. Chat said overall staying the same. So, a couple of ones, decent amount of threes, but a lot of twos. Look at how thick his deck was, though. True. Did have a big deck. Panacea. Normally a little potion. Okay, one in the chat, if you see the little face on Panacea, like you see this as eyes. Like for me, I always thought this was a little guy. Like a little tubby guy that was there to give you assistance in battle. I don't know. I always saw a face. Anyways, beta art. Boo! All right, move it down. One of the few move downs. Panic button. It says execute. It used to be a ×3 attack, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we moved that one up. Panic button transcends. Purity. Biblically accurate angel. I just don't like this art style, man. All right, Swift Strike. Punching a bird in a face. That's going to take a lot to beat it. You're literally punching a bird. That might be the worst one. Out of all of the beta arts, get fucking put down to F tier, you useless sack of shit. Trip? What the fuck? What the fuck? The blurriness of it, I don't understand. What the fuck? What the... Okay. Chat says to move it up. Look, this also implies motion, chat. Do you think that this person is just statically sitting here like a yoga pose? Because there's no motion blur to indicate that they're moving? All right, Apotheosis. The goated card that we all love. I'm confused. What is this? Chat, explain. Is this some sort of religious thing? It's a meteor hitting the spire. It's Wish Upon a Star. Soul is thinking of the 14 months. Yeah, ass. I like big bright colors, please.
Hey, you.
Chrysalis. What the fuck? Why is he thinking of cool-headed? Why is he thinking of the card? What the fuck? What the hell? Out of all of the characters, the defect is least likely. All right, chat wants Chrysalis moved up. It's because the skill he wants. Oh. Zero cost cool-headed. True. All right, Hand of Greed. Again, big bright colors. You got a delicious looking hand that I would like to go on. Little Cheeto fingies. I'm going to make this into a thumbnail. Next time I get Hand of Greed, I'm going to make that into a thumbnail. Moving it up. Magnetism. Can Magnetism get out of F tier? What the is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? That is a fucking sleep paralysis demon. Holy shit, man. First person to gift 5 subs gets to decide where that goes. Fuck that, dude. All right, Master of Strategy. Can it beat the Queen's Gambit? Alt Fallout. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Alt Fallout. 1, 2, or 3, my friend. God tier sleep demon. It's now a D tier. Are you happy? I hate this. This is moving down. Master of Strategy. You get moved down. Metamorphosis. If it's as good as Chrysalis, we should be pogging. Gross. Not pogging. Panache. What? You guys are all saying 1? I don't get it. Panache is charisma, isn't it? Oh, is it? I don't know what panache means. Yeah, I skipped a bunch. Sorry, I skipped a row. Slam me mayhem. What the fuck? Is this like a Danny Phantom reference? Chat's saying mayhem should go up, and I hate you for that. Where's my mayhem? Mayhem goes up. Now in the bottom of B tier. All right, sadistic nature. Yeah, we'll move it up. I'll move it up. Yeah, you guys like your Undertales. I know. Secret technique. What the fuck? What the hell? That's a lot of 2s. That's a lot of 2s. Chat is very decisive on that one. Secret weapon. We go from some random reference that I didn't understand to now one that all of us understand. Get up there, secret weapon. You deserve it, buddy. Boomba is an easy one to beat. This is an easy one to beat. Boomba's now in the cum tier. Thinking ahead. A pretty fun art when you actually look at it, but... What is this posture? This posture is so alarming. What the fuck? Threes. Move it down. Move it down. What the fuck? I just spit everywhere, man. Holy shit, dude. Move it down. This is the grandma from the SpongeBob episode that likes chocolate. Chat, can you tell the difference? Chat, can you tell the difference? All right, transmutation. That's saying move it up. Who the fuck that was down here? All right, another meme. Another card comes out of F tier, man. All right, and finally, violence. Why? It looks like the little skill is covering up the fat dong. Violence also gonna transcend into all power in reality. Transcending all power in reality.
Can we see the beta art for the other colorless cards that are character unique?
Oh, yeah,
Even though they're not on the list.
Yeah, of course. All right. Become almighty. You can still 1, 2, 3 this, chat. That's an easy one. Ass. Expunger. Another reference. Smiley face. Among Us. I don't think it's Among Us, chat. I think that's like a sweat drop coming down there. And I think that this is it's not Among Us. It's not. All right. Now fame in fortune. Give me the 1,000 bits again, dude. I've used this in a beta art before. I love this one. Yeah, I've literally used this in a actually I can show you. I know exactly what thumbnail it is. Slay the Spire, but dude, I look so fucking hot in that cardigan. Holy shit. Insight. They've got the same mask. So now we immediately, of course. All right, live forever. It's actually, wait, it's actually, You were right. It actually is the grandma. Miracle. S. All right, this one's got to slap, right? This one's going to slap, no doubt. Safety. I thought it was the Ironclad was T-posing. He's doing safe, like she landed on the base. Also, the fact that his head is just slightly off to the side. Ironclad is asserting dominance. Smite. That's pretty good. This one's gonna be good. There's no way that this is already sick. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, it was again. I don't like this art style. This art style is in a lot of the cards. I'm not a fan of it, but I do like the violin. Oh man. All right, good tier listing there, chat. That was a good job. Good job tier listing.